Hello guys, welcome to today's lesson where we are going to deal with functions, right? So a function is used to map an input into an output. So we are saying we have an input, then we have a function, then we have an output. So we are saying that a function is used to map this input into an output. So we have two different types of function. We have many to one function. Like for example, we have these inputs, right? This can be mapped into one output, right? And mostly these many to one functions, they are even function. For example, we have y is equals to x squared, which is, let's write it in the form f of x is equals to x squared, right? If x is equals to -1, we have f of -1 is equals to -1 squared, which is equals to 1, right? Then when x is equals to 1, we have f of 1 is equals to 1 squared, which is equals to 1. So we see we have put two different inputs, but we have one output. So this is what we call many to one function, and this is an even function, right? So we have also 1 to 1 function, right? Where we are saying that for every input that we are putting, we are getting one output, right? Normally these, for example, we have f of x is equals to 3x plus 2, right? Normally these are odd functions, right? For example, if we say f of 1, this is equals to 3, 1 plus 2, which give us 5. Then we say f of -1, we get 3 minus 1 plus 2, we get -3 plus 2, we get -1. So we see for every input of that we are putting in f of in our function, we are getting the different values of f of x, right? So having done that, let's define the important terms that we're gonna need when we are dealing with functions. Let's define what we call a domain. So a domain, this is the set of input values for which a function is defined, right? Then we have what we call a range. So a range, this is the set of values which a function can obtain. We can we'll actually see this when we are dealing now with examples. So let's look at some examples here. Example 1, we have f of x is equals to 1 over x minus 3. So the first question is asking us to find the domain of the function, right? So the domain of the function, we say that the domain is a set of input values for which a function is defined. So we can actually see that from this function f of x is equals to 1 over x minus 3. This function is defined when we input any value of x, which is x is a real number, but only except when x is equals to 0. So we are saying the domain of this function is x is an element of real numbers, but for which x is not equal to 0. So this is the domain of this function. So x cannot be 0 there, because if it is 0, then this function becomes undefined. Then the second question is asking us to solve f of x is equals to 2. So when f of x is equals to 2, we need to find the value of x. So f of x is equals to 1 over x minus 3. So 1 over x minus 3 is now equal to 2. So we can multiply by x here by x here. Then this by this, we have 1. X by 3, we have 3x is equals to 2x. This goes this direction, we have equals to 2x plus 3x. This now gives us 1 is equals to 5x. We divide by 5. We divide by 5. Therefore, x is equals to 1 over 5. Right. Let's look at another example. Right. We have f of x is equals to x squared. So the question is saying find the domain and range of the function, right? So we said that the domain is the set of the values for which this function is defined, right? And the range is the set of values which the function can obtain, right? So we can see that for any value of real number that we put here, this function is defined. So it means our domain is x is an element of real numbers, right? Then if we are to look at the range, normally when you want to see the range of a function, I would advise for you to plot a graph. So if we plot the graph of, which is our y-axis here, or f of x, then here x, if we plot the graph of x squared, it's like this one. So we can see that this function is starting from f of x is equals to 0 going upwards. So the range of this function becomes f of x is greater than or equal to 0, right? We can see that for every value of x that we are inputting into this function, right, we are getting that the minimum value of the function f of x is equals to 0, then it starts to increase. So f of x is greater than 0. This becomes our range of this function, right? So having done that, let's now look at compound functions, right? When we are talking of compound functions, we are combining functions, right? So let's say, for example, we have f of x is equals to ax plus b, then you have g of x is equals to x over c, right? So we can be asked to find f of g x, of which we are saying that here we are given f of x is ax plus b. Now we are told to find f of gx. So here it means where there is x, we are substituting it with g, the function gx, because we are saying f of x is equals to this, but now you have removed x and put g of x. So it means where there is x there, we are putting the function gx, right? So f of gx is equals to here a, where this x, you are now putting x over c plus b, which gives you a over c x plus b. So basically this is all about compound functions, right? So let's just do one example on that. So let's say, for example, we have f of x is equals to 2x plus 3, then g of x is equals to 3 over x. Then the first question is asking us to find f of g of x. So we are saying where there is an x on f of x, we are substituting the function gx. So we have 3 over x plus 3, which gives us 6 over x plus 3, right? The second question is asking to find g of f of x. So it means where there's x on g of x, we are now putting the function f of x there. So we have 3 over, where there's x, we put 2x plus 3, right? So you see, this is just simple mathematics, right? Now let's consider inverse of functions, right? Let's take a look at maybe a random function, f of x is equals to ax plus b, right? This is how I do it, right? And it's actually pretty simple. So when you are told to find the inverse of this function, right, what I want you to do is you actually change, right, and put where this f of x now, you put x, then where this x there, that's where you put f, your inverse. So you put f of the power -1 x plus b. Or what you can do is you can actually put it as y, then you change it later, but I would advise to use this one so that you won't get confused, right? So what I'm saying is, if you are given f of x is equal to ax plus b, when you now want to find the inverse, the instant that you do that, just put where there's f of x, put it as x, where there's x, put it as your inverse, then make this subject of formula. So what we can say is, you can say x, then you put this here. We want to make the inverse subject of formula, so we say this comes here, you have x minus b is equals to a f of inverse of f of x, right? So you divide by a, you divide by a, therefore the inverse of f of x is equals to x minus b over a. It's now done. You see, it's not difficult at all. It's just some simple stuff there. So let's take an example. You have f of x is equals to 1 over x minus 3, right? So what I said is, where this f of x there, you change and put x is equals to, where this x you change and put the inverse of f of x minus 3, right? So you want to make the inverse the subject of formula, so you can collect like terms there. Then you have x plus 3 is equals to 1 of f of inverse of x. You multiply by f of inverse of x, then here you multiply by f of inverse of x, right? This cancels out, then you divide by x plus 3, you divide by x plus 3, so this becomes f of inverse of x plus 3 divided by x plus 3. Since this cancels out, we have 1 over x plus 3. This cancels out, then you have f of inverse of x is equals to 1 over x plus 3. So having done that, you have found the inverse of your function. Let's consider the last example. We have f of x is equals to 2x plus 3, right? Then we are asked to find the inverse. So first you change this to x, then 2, then this you change to f inverse of x plus 3. We make this subject of formula, then this goes this direction, f x minus 3 is equals to 2 multiplied by f of inverse of x, you divide by 2, divided by 2. So therefore the inverse of f of x is equals to x minus 3 over 2. So you can see that this is actually simple things, guys, right? So I'm going to post a lesson on transformation of functions, like translation on the horizontal axis, vertical axis, stretch, just an illustration, so that when you encounter those things you really understand. I'll also link it to the method of completing the square. When I post that video, you'll be notified if you are a subscriber. So if you are new to this channel, please click on subscribe and turn on the notification button, so that when I post another lesson, you'll be notified instantly. So thank you guys, have a great day.